Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the City Guys podcast. Today, we are going to be recapping some recent fixtures with St. Louis City. We know it's been a little while since we've done an episode, but we're mostly going to go in depth on the most recent game against Nashville, and we'll also touch on the Aston Villa friendly and some other stuff surrounding City. So, Varun, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I know you went to this game, right? The Nashville game?
hmm
Yeah.
Yep.
A 3-1 win at home. What were your thoughts about this?
Yeah, this was, I think, the best performance from City in a long, long time, really since the start of the season. It really felt like a pretty dominant performance, kind of like the last weekend's game. I guess it was 2 weeks ago against Minnesota, where City kind of choked it away at the end, but they actually played really well. Um, which I guess we need to talk about that game as well. But we'll talk about the Nashville game first.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I thought it was a really strong performance. I thought, especially some of the newer guys that we brought in, this was Falu Fall's first game starting, first MLS game starting.
yeah.
And I thought he was a little shaky at first, especially with his distribution, but defensively, he was really strong. You could tell that has really great instincts defensively. And he kind of shut down the Nashville attack, which is one of the better attacks in the league. So it's a very hard thing to do. I think he ended up actually winning man of the match for this game. So
Yeah.
he had a very strong performance for his opening game. And I also thought Daniel Paddleford on the left flank, left back, um, he has been pretty good in the two games that he's played for St. Louis City. He plays
Uh,
with a lot of energy. He's obviously out there playing with something to prove. He's on a short-term loan, so he's playing for a contract, playing for a roster spot next year, and it shows. He's done a really great job. The fans were getting really into it. I mean, he was playing for the badge, and I think it kind of rubbed off on some of his teammates too. I mean, he plays hard. He was creating chances. He was breaking up passes. He was pretty locked down on that left back. And then obviously Orozco, who has been a little shaky at times, but overall has been such a bright spark for this City team. I feel like ever since he's gotten on the pitch, he again plays with a ton of energy. He's really aggressive, pretty good on the ball as well for a right back, and he's very versatile. He can play a lot of different positions, pretty much anywhere on the back line he could play. So um, obviously high praise to him, especially for tonight, where he scored his. I don't. It was his first goal with City, I believe.
yeah.
I don't think he got credit for that one
Yeah. I'm not
against
really sure about that
Real
one.
Salt Lake. But either way, I mean, he scored a absolutely beautiful goal to open the scoring for St. Louis City. And after that, Joel Klauss scored shortly after to give City a 2-0 lead very early on. And that honestly kind of, I think, really, it was a lot of hard work, I feel like, from the players. And we've seen that a lot this year, that they have been working pretty hard under Critchley, maybe not getting the results that they deserve, but they got two really good goals. Early on, they were kind of low probability goals, low XG goals, so they kind of got lucky, I guess, in that way. But huge reward for this City team for all the effort that they put in. And they later got a third in the second half. Sangbin Jung scored his first City goal, first goal of the year for him, I believe, at least in the MLS, off of a Simon Becker assist. So pretty dominant performance City for probably the first 65, 70 minutes of this game. And then Nashville did kind of have a late rally. They ended up drawing a penalty, which Hani Mukhtar stepped up to take. It was initially saved by Berkey. They called it back because Berkey stepped off the line, which I mean, I many rant about this. I mean, this isn't just exclusive to this specific game or this instant, but I hate that. I understand the goalies can't come off the line rule. I understand it, but I feel like it's not fair for attacking players to stop in the middle of their run up while taking a penalty to try and get the goalies to come off the line. I think that's just a bit ridiculous. I mean, penalties, in my opinion, are way too favored for the attacking player. I think the goalies need to have some sort of advantage or some sort of assistance. And in my opinion, because that's kind of what happened here, is Hani Mukhtar stopped in the middle of his run up and Berkey went a little early. So he came off his line before he shot it, which I think is kind of dumb. I think it's a dumb rule that that's allowed, but I digress. He ended up retaking it and scoring it, and Nashville actually looked really dangerous at the
Yeah.
end of this game. They did score a second goal that got called back kind of controversially. I believe it was for a foul, um, which it looked like a pretty soft foul. It kind of a makeup call in a way from the ref. So this game could have easily been 3-2 very late, but I think City got a little lucky there, got away with one, and that basically was the rest of the game. I mean, Nashville had some really good chances, but none as good as the goal that got called back. And yeah, City came away with a pretty dominant 3-1 win, even though that the statistics don't really show City was too dominant. It really felt like they controlled this game for 75, 80% of it. Really only at
Yeah.
the end did they stutter a little bit, but they were able to hold it out and see this one through for a win.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I mean, that was a great recap of the game. My star performer, of course, I guess a lot of people's star performer in this game was Falu Fall, as you said. And just to give you his list of stats that he dropped in this game, 86% pass completion rate, 60 touches on the ball, 3 tackles won, 4 recoveries, 4 duels won, and 4 clearances. I mean, what a debut for him, actually. Yeah, I do think he had a
Mhm.
kind of a slow start to the game, but as the game went on, he really built on that, and yeah, he had himself a great game. That man was a brick wall back there.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, of course, Orozco. What a goal, actually, though. I mean, I don't know what the XG on that shot was, but like that's a crazy angle to score off of. That is
Yeah.
like barely anything. Um, but yeah, that was a crazy goal from Orozco. I really loved what I saw from that. And yeah, I mean, um, later on, actually, I'd say we talk about it now. What are your thoughts about Joachim Nielsen? He's no longer a City player. St. Louis City has agreed to buy out the rest of his contract. So thank you, Nielsen, for the past 3 years. But yeah, I guess it was probably gonna happen anyways because Falu Falls here.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts about this whole Nielsen thing now that he's no longer a City player?
Yeah, I think Nilsson's time with City can only really be labeled as a disappointment. I mean, he has barely played. I saw a stat. I don't remember where I saw this on, but it was like highest paid players per
Yeah.
minute in the
Uh,
MLS that they played, and Nilsson was up there. He was making like $1,500 a minute he
yeah.
played just because he played so few minutes and he was getting paid a ton. Because they brought him in before the first season. He was one of the first guys they brought in, and he was billed as being the star center back for this team. He was supposed to be the guy to lead that back line. He ended up breaking his leg, I want to say, some sort of lower body leg injury that kept him sidelined for the majority of the inaugural season. He came back and was okay, but he was clearly still recovering. Yeah, I feel like even when he has come on and played, he's been okay at best.
Uh,
But he just, in my opinion, was a little bit too slow and a little bit too sluggish to play in this league where really it's very athletic based. Guys maybe aren't as skillful, but they're pretty fast and strong. Which you have a guy like Nilsson who's pretty slow and is injury prone. That's not really a good combination. Even though he is pretty, he has good instincts. He's a smart player. He just didn't really fit in with this team and really just in this league in general. So I do think this is a pretty good move from City. Kind of similar to some of the moves they've made recently. They let Giannis Horn leave. Rasmus Alm is on long-term IR. He'll probably won't play again for City. They're kind of trimming up the fat a little bit of this team, kind of getting rid of some of the players who aren't, envisioned to be long-term players as part of this project. And I think Joachim Nilsson is just one of those. those guys. So, he
Yeah.
had his moments with City. Obviously, the bicycle kick is probably against LA Galaxy is his most famous moments. That was huge,
Uh-huh.
but overall, I would say pretty disappointing player. Wish him nothing but the best, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, he did have some great moments, but yeah, I mean, moving on to probably this winter transfer window, I do see, as you said, Alm probably will be no longer a City player at the end of the season. I do want to see, I do
Hmm.
think that there will be a lot more departures in the winter. I think
Yeah.
we really do need to address some key aspects of this team when we're signing players. I do think that Chris Durkin might also be on his way out. It is very possible that Durkin could be on his way out at the end of the season. And I think that we should look for another defensive midfielder. We need somebody um who can kind of control the game like an 8 basically. I think maybe like a box to box or maybe even a 6. Because, I mean, Marcel
Hmm.
Hartel should not be playing that deep. And, I mean, now I
Yeah.
really do think that we have kind of gotten the full Hartel that we are used to, attacking minded Hartel. But, I mean, we shouldn't really have to rely on an attacking midfielder to kind of play as a holding midfielder. Um, and I don't think Akil Watts is the best. He's a good substitution, a good rotational player. But as a starter, I do think that we should go for a more high profile defensive midfielder, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, Leuven playing that role,
Yeah.
playing that kind of pivot role, he's been obviously very successful. I mean, City, I'm pretty sure every game that City's won this year, Leuven has started.
Oh,
So he's clearly important to this team. But yeah, it's definitely a need for City, especially with Leuven's availability issues. And we don't really have a ton of depth there. We have Gerwood Reich, who can play CDM, but he's also a center back. Yeah, like you said, Akil Watts can play there, but he's not the best, and he's also more of a fullback.
yeah.
So it's not necessarily the deepest position on the team. I do think a CDM or even just like a central midfielder that could, really be strong in possession and kind of hold up play is something that we're just really lacking right now because the midfield still is a struggle. City still struggles to maintain possessions and string together passes. Another stat that I learned the other day was, I mean, really to no one's surprise, but prior to the game um, against Nashville, City were dead last in the MLS in assists with only 13 all year. I think that we've scored 24 goals and only 13 of them have been assisted.
Oh
So
my god.
pretty pretty poor from City, and that's just we just don't have a lot of build up play. Most of our chances come from
Chaos.
interceptions or yeah chaos pressing. We don't have an identity or necessarily strong
Yeah.
build up play from the midfield. Although we were pretty good against Nashville, we did pick up. I want to say all three goals were assisted. Maybe not the Orozco goal off the corner, but definitely the last two. So yeah, I think that City w- uh, midfield is still definitely an issue, and
Yeah.
yeah, I guess too. One thing I wanted to, since you mentioned Marcel Hartel, I thought that Hartel his last game kind of felt invisible at times. I don't
Mm.
really remember him doing too much, and Hartel has arguably been City's best player this year in terms of what he's given on the
Yeah.
pitch, even though it's not really saying much, but. He's obviously a really talented and important player, but he kind of has played all over the place. He hasn't really fit into one specific position. They used to play him on the wings a lot, and that was okay. Obviously they played him at a six. That's not really ideal. He's an attacking midfielder, but he hasn't really fit in and kind of solidified a role. I feel like he's kind of just been this rotational guy throughout the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And it has hurt the team. I feel like he's kind of, getting his talents wasted a little bit. I don't know what your
I
opinion on that is,
I
though.
kind of feel like if you want to unlock Marcel Hartel's kind of full potential here, I think you kind of want him to be more of that kind of like free form guy that kind of does whatever he wants. He's kind of a
Hmm.
10, but he's not really like I don't know. He's not really like a shadow striker. He just kind of moves wherever he wants on the field, and I do think that the team should be
Mm,
built off of him having that freedom where it's kind of like you play everything through Hartel and everything goes out of Hartel. Where he's
mhm,
kind of like the center point of the I don't know, like the center point of like the offense, basically when you're attacking. It's kind of how like Leuven kind of played in that first season, where literally Leuven did everything on the playmaking aspect. So I kind of think that Marcel Hartel, he's very good with his feet, very technical player. He has very very good passing. His shooting is also pretty good. So I think either I think you just let him have the ball in the middle of the park and just let him do whatever he wants with it, and then just have someone as like a fallback, like those two maybe like double pivots that we have back there to kind of hold it
mhm,
down just in case if we do lose possession off the when we're attacking. But yeah, I kind of do agree. Yeah, Marcel Hartel is kind of in and out in games. Sometimes he is by far the best player on the pitch. Sometimes he's kind of invisible and kind of just not really doing too much. But yeah, I completely
mhm.
agree with you. Another play I did want to talk about is Sangbin. I really do like what I see from Sangbin in these past couple games. I know St. Louis City, we have had problems with the right wing position, and I really do like that St. Louis City went out and addressed that fact and got Sangbin Jung. And I do really like him. I feel like he's more of a kind of like a kick and run type of guy, which I really do like. He's really, really fast, which I really do love.
Mhm.
So if you do kind of get that 1-2 off of him and he's just blasted past the fullback, he's already through. But yeah, I mean, that Sangbin goal that came, it was kind of a Bluetooth goal. But if you do look closely, I do think that it bounces off his head into the net. So, I
Mhm.
mean, he got his goal on the score sheet, but I really do like what I've been seeing from Sangbin.
Yeah, like you said, it's really nice to actually have a right winger. It's really not something the city's had since Rasmus Alm
Yeah.
used to play. So it's been, I think, a huge benefit to City over the last couple games because yeah, Sengun has that speed. You can tell he had a couple like early run-ins with the Minnesota left back, and you could tell that the Minnesota left back kind of recognized, or not Minnesota, Nashville left
Nashville.
back um, recognized that this guy has this explosive speed. I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit and kind of move a little bit further back. So their back line had to kind of shift a little bit back to accommodate for Sangbin's speed, so they didn't get caught in like a counter, which kind of opened up the game. I felt like for everybody else, especially in the midfield. I think it really did contribute to City's dominance early on in this game. They had a lot of space, and the Nashville defenders had a lot of different things to worry about. I mean, you had Leuven obviously on the ball, but they couldn't really press all out press him because you had Sung Ben on the wing who could catch the Nashville defenders lacking, which he actually did quite a few
Hmm.
times throughout this game. And even Daniel Paddleford
Yeah.
at left back was getting vol- getting some crosses in behind the back line, which was really nice to see. Um, so yeah, I think they really did kind of pick apart this Nashville back line. I think um, shout out to the Nashville keeper. I'm blanking on, is it Peter Willis? I believe is his name, from St. Louis. He had a really great
Yeah.
game. He made some pretty big saves early on, but the Nashville back line just got kind of torched in this game. I think you can credit that a lot to Sangbin Jung, who really
Yeah.
opened up play a lot. And I think that he is going to be here for the long term.
Hmm.
And it's only been a few games, but in my mind, I think City have to. He's a guy that has to be in the starting lineup just based on how he's played.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I really do think that overarchingly, beating Nashville is a pretty big feat for St. Louis City where we are currently at,
Hmm.
you know? And I mean, we are what currently sitting at 14th in the West, and 27th overall in the MLS total. So, I
Hmm.
mean, at this current stage, we're not really playing for anything. I feel like playoffs are way out of reach already. So,
Mhm.
If not, we're already eliminated. I'm not really sure about that, but I
I think
kind
if we
of.
win every single game, we can make the playoffs. Otherwise, I think if
Oh,
we drop any points, we're
oh
eliminated.
no. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I really do think that at this point, as a player, you kind of want to. Here, give me a sec.
Okay.
Yeah. हाँ, कहाँ पे? Yeah. Okay. Me laggy. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, but I really do think that like as a team, as a player for St. Louis City, I really do think that bouncing back from or actually going kind of back to back with these wins, who do we play this weekend? Chicago. I do think
Yeah.
that we really need to build off of this win from Nashville because if we get back to back wins, I really do think that morale is really boosted because, I don't
Hmm.
really know how much this really kind of correlates to like the Premier League and stuff, but like in the Premier League, right? If you're a team fighting for relegation, kind of those like bottom five teams, those back to back wins, you need to get at least a back to back win. You can't just have a win and then lose like 6 games in a row.
Hmm.
You really want at least a back to back win just to kind of solidify yourself, to kind of get back up, and try to
Hmm.
build some momentum. So I really do think that at this point, St. Louis City is not the team where we're very comfortable, dominating games, but we kind of have to kind of push ourselves just to get that morale back, get that confidence back in the team and all the players. But I mean, Nashville is way better than Chicago, so I really do think that St. Louis City going into this, we do have a pretty good chance. I do really do like to say.
It's definitely a more favorable game, and we can talk about this upcoming game here. At Chicago, against Big Greg Berhalter. Chicago, I believe, is ninth in the East. I don't know what they are overall in the MLS standings. Uh, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. They are 15th actually in the MLS, so they are actually a little bit better
Yeah.
than it seems, because the East is pretty significantly better than the West this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a winnable game. I feel like um, Chicago, they are coming off of a draw against LAFC. Um, so it's not necessarily the best team in MLS, especially compared to this Nashville team we just beat. They are pretty significantly worse, like you said. So I am expecting at least a solid performance from City. Hopefully, we can at least get a point from this game. Um, if not, even just win it straight up. Because City have been a lot better recently in their past few games. Obviously, they this win over Nashville, but the game before this against Minnesota is a game they should have got a result in. They kind of blew it with that red card and
Yeah.
two penalties at the end, which that Minnesota team is really good as well. So I do think that for the first time in a while, going into a game, I do think City should be going into it, relatively confident in their ability to get a result here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the Chicago team they've been in okay form going into this. They've got
Mhm.
2 wins in their past 5 games. St. Louis City has gotten 2 wins in our past 5 games as well. I mean, that's including the friendly versus Aston Villa, um, which I do think that we should talk about later on. I do think that's like a monumental uh, game in City's history. So, but yeah, I really do think that City does have what it takes to at least put up a fight against Chicago. I know that we're not at our home field advantage. City does play much, much,
Mhm.
much better at Energizer Park than we do away. But I do think that with all these, I think is Durkin coming back for this game, or is he suspended for 2 games?
I think he's back.
Okay.
Uh,
So
No, he might actually be suspended for 2 games. Now that I think
okay,
about it, because I think it was a straight red.
okay. So I mean, I do think that just because Leuven is back, I really do think that we're gonna. Leuven is very, very pivotal to this team, and I really do think that team plays much better with him on the field. So if Leuven
Mm.
is here, I really do like our chances, even to just get a point here. I'd be happy with the point, but I do think that City has full ability to beat Chicago here.
I agree. I mean, just going through Chicago's roster, they're not the strongest on their back line. Both their center backs have actually been relatively poor this year. But they do have a pretty powerful attack led by their striker, Hugo Kuipers. He has 14 goals this year, which is, some of the most. I don't know where that ranks in terms of MLS Golden Boot, but it has to be up there. Uh, he's been one of the best strikers in MLS this year, so it's going to be a very difficult task for City's back line, especially these center backs. They're going to be pretty heavily tested against Chicago. I'd expect to see kind of a box to box kind of game, um, high attacking, high energy, probably a lot of goals in this one. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I do think City can come away with a result here. Um, Going to Chicago, not necessarily known for being a difficult place to play in the MLS. So you know, match prediction for this, I'm gonna say a 2-2 draw. I think City are able to get a point here.
Interesting, interesting. I think City will get a 3-2 win in Chicago. I think it'll be a higher scoring game, and I think that we're gonna score either two, maybe two goals in the first half, and then we're kind of gonna blow it, and then we'll eventually hopefully
Yeah.
score when it's like 3-1, and then they'll get a consolation goal late. But
Mm,
yeah, I mean, I was just out of curiosity, I was looking at the MLS like the Golden Boot race, and it's actually pretty crazy, bro. It's Messi at top with 18, and he's tied for the with the Nashville guy Sam Sturridge, and they're both
mm,
at 18, which is crazy. And then the guy that you mentioned, Hugo Kuipers, is at 14. He's at seventh. So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
he does have a lot of goals. So yeah, 14. And I was just looking at St. Louis City. Joao Klauss is 33rd in the Golden Boot race with 8 goals. So
Like, oh, that's more than I thought.
yeah, he has
Actually,
8. So
I guess he
I
did
mean,
a hat trick.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we still a little bit away. If Klaus kind of just balls
Yeah.
out, in these couple games, it could still be in reach. But I mean, yeah. So I do think that St. Louis City, we really did shut down Sam Sturridge in this game. He only played he
Mhm.
played 75-ish minutes, I think, but he really didn't do that much, if I'm being completely honest, in this game. And
Yeah.
then yeah, so I really do like our chances. I do think that Falu Fall and who's Baumgartel, I think that they should be able to kind of lock him down. I also do think that Henry Kessler was kind of just kept out as a precautionary measure in
Mhm.
this game against
Yep.
Nashville. So
Yep.
Henry Kessler, he probably should be good to go for Chicago. So that's just another reinforcement to add to that back line. So I really
Mhm.
do like what I'm
Mhm.
seeing from this back line. So I do think that we have a pretty good shot at winning this game.
I agree. Yeah. Kessler, I believe, was on the bench
Mm,
for this last game. He just didn't get in there.
yeah.
Which I mean, that in itself is going to be interesting to see that dynamic between the center backs
Uh
and
huh.
which two are going to be the starting pair going forward. But it's good to have him back. He was obviously pivotal at the start of the year, kind of got injured and kind
Yeah.
of fell off. So um, hopefully he can get some time here at the end of the season
Yeah.
because he really earned it.
Facts. Do you just want to briefly talk about that Aston Villa game? I mean, this is something that
Hmm.
will go down in St. Louis City history. I mean, we played a Premier League team, a team that made it to the Champions League quarterfinals. I mean, what a moment for City. I know it probably was kind of an awkward moment because this is most likely scheduled due to our old manager Olaf Melberg being an Aston Villa legend. I mean, he was a great player there, but he's no longer here. So Aston Villa just kind of came here just because. they're kind of forced to at this point. But yeah, I mean, St. Louis City end up losing 2-1. We did get kind of cooked, but I mean, Toysher did get that. It's decent goal, pretty good goal, good great
Mhm.
finish from Toysher. I mean, I really wish he did that in the MLS, but it was a great finish from him. So I really did. This game was pretty good. Pretty good game. I mean, what an atmosphere.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Obviously a big moment, for City. Kinda reminds me of that first ever game against,
Yeah, that
Leverkusen,
was like 10
although this one
degrees.
was yeah, if that, although this one was, a lot better of a game, I felt like City actually played pretty decently. I mean, it is a friendly, so, players are kinda going at half speed. But I thought City looked alright, especially some guys like Toyhurt, and some especially some of the academy guys who got in at the end of the game. You could tell that they really wanted to get in there and, were trying their best, to make a difference, and they played pretty solidly. I mean, City had some pretty good chances at the end of that game. It coulda easily finished 2-2, so I was pretty happy with the result. Those games are always fun, always a big deal when, you get a Premier League team, to come to your stadium, so
Hmm.
it was a lot of fun. One of the highlights, honestly, of the year. So happy that happened. Hopefully, we can get a few more of these teams to come in the future.
Yeah, I mean that. What a great atmosphere. So I completely agree. Uh, this will this what a game. I mean,
Mhm.
just to even also like it's a great opportunity to see like Premier League level players kind of playing here. That's something that you really
Yeah.
don't see in the U.S. Other than maybe preseason. You just gotta hope that the star players are playing. And
Mhm.
I mean, you saw like Aston Villa had a lot of their starters. They had game time in this game. I mean,
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey. So I mean, very very
Even
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
Emi Martinez as
yeah,
well at the start, which
yeah,
was cool to see him.
yeah. So I mean, it was a great moment just to see. Hopefully, like somebody's favorite players, are out there.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, that was great. But anyways, I mean, did you have anything else to add, just St. Louis City related? Anything else you want to talk about here?
No, not particularly.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, you said what 2-2 draw for the Chicago game? I'm thinking
Yeah,
uh
I'm hoping we get a point here.
I'm thinking a 3-2 win in Chicago. So we'll probably wrap it up right there. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I mean, we're nearing the end of the season, so hopefully City can kind of build on this last win. But yeah, we'll see you in the next video, hopefully.